Hello pianists! Today you will learn how to play multiple octave major scales using C fingering. These are common building blocks within all styles of music. It builds your technique, will help you sight read and perform repertoire, and even improvise on chord charts, play a improvised melody in the jazz ensemble. So they're essential building blocks for all pianists to learn how to play. For a demonstration today, you will hear Clementi's famous Sonatina in C major, Opus 36, number 1. There's that opening theme you might recognize. A little background on Clementi. He was really the original piano man. He was a piano teacher, piano composer, piano publisher. He even had his own firm to create pianos. On his tombstone in Westminster Abbey, he's called the father of the pianoforte, which was the original name of this instrument. You might not remember him, but you know probably Mozart. Actually, Clementi and Mozart had a piano duel back in the day, and it was deemed a tie between the two of them. So Clementi was quite the virtuoso pianist. So I bring up Clementi because he utilizes these scale passages throughout all of his teaching pieces. So do Mozart, Beethoven, Haydn, and later composers. So I'll play the exposition of our Sonatina in C so you can hear first the scales that you're going to learn how to play today. So enjoy. So if you'd like to play a piece like that soon, you need to learn how to play your scales. All of those were based on what I call C fingering, and they're modeled after C major. All right, so let's jump in and get you guys learning how to play those scales. Previously, we have learned how to play our major pentascales, which use a span of a fifth. So let's do a friendly reminder of our whole and half step pattern of C major. Say it along with me as you play. I'm starting hands together on bass C and middle C. Up a whole step, half step, up a whole step. All right, so you already have learned 5 notes out of 8 of our major scale. So there's 3 more steps we need to learn. So we have start note, whole, whole, half, whole. Next is whole, whole, half. To keep track of that, I use a little mnemonic device. If you take W's and H's, you can use the saying of we walked home when we walked home to get those W's and H's in the proper order. We walked home when we walked home. You can also remember there's 2 half steps. They occur between the 3rd and the 4th scale degrees and the 7th and the 8th scale degrees. With that information, you should be able to construct all of your major scales. That would be 12 different keys. Today we're going to focus on half of those that use C fingerings. So let's get into C fingerings. If you want to play these scales like in Clementi Sonatina, with ease and speed, practice them first as techniques, and then you can insert that pattern into Clementi, Mozart, Beethoven, and Haydn within time. So you might have noticed that I'm using some scale fingerings that go thumb under, some fingers over. You can't just use these simple little 5-finger scales anymore. So this breaks into 2 fingering groups. In C major, I have 1, 2, 3. And then a new technique is the thumb is going to slip under 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you can keep going up. For C fingering, put your thumb on tonic or the key note. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I can go as far as I like. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. When it's time to descend, use your 5th finger as the turnaround finger. And it repeats fingering group of 4, 3, 2, 1. Now 3 is going to go over. 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. All right, and I would suggest you first practice that with little pauses in between. So those fingering groups become one chunk, one thought in your brain. So you're going to think, I go to 3, I go to 4, I go to 3, I go to 4, go to 3, go to 4. When you descend, the 5. And I repeat that same fingering group at the top. 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3. So just get yourself to think 3, 4, 3, 4. And I kind of sprint and go faster in between on my fingering groups. Let's talk about some good technique. If you want to play Clementi with speed, you have to always have good technique. And it relies a lot on your wrist and your thumb and your arm weight. So the thumb should be tall and angled. If it goes down flat, watch what happens. I have inefficient technique. I'm going up and down. So keep that tall and angled so it just keeps my wrist level. My body's going to lean in my direction. That way I feel like I have my body weight and support to propel me to the right and back to the left. So I would even pause, just practice your C scales, getting those very comfortable. Let's not forget about the left hand. So let's get to that left hand fingering. Remember that the left hand is a mirror image of your right hand. So just like the right hand descended, 5, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, the left hand's going to start that way. I'm going to start on C number 2 with my 5 finger. First fingering group is 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3 goes over, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. When I come back down, that group repeats at the top. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, set your technique good. Tall, angled thumb, level wrist. Notice my body is already lean because I'm to the left of my body. 4, 3, thumb on tonic, 4, 3, 1, 2, 3 repeats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And notice I do a lot of talking out loud to teach you, but also in my studio, I ask my students to say things out loud. So I would, as you practice, say 4, 3, 4, 3, 3, 4, 3, 4. So you get used to that alternating pattern. Remember at the top, it's going to repeat 3 twice in a row. Pause it there. Practice C major. Get it comfortable. All right, next we're going to transpose that exact same fingering to 5 other keys. Then you can play Clementi and other types of pieces. So we're going to learn this in what I call a circle of fifths progression, where we add 1 sharp each time. C has 0 sharps or flats. If we go up a perfect fifth to G, it's going to have 1 sharp. We can use our whole half step pattern once just to reinforce this idea. Remember our we walked home when we walked home. Whole, whole, half, whole, whole, whole step, F sharp, half step, whole, 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 half, whole, whole. From there you can memorize G major has 1 sharp. That will help you out in reading your key signatures as well. Then lay that same fingering we just learned for C. One adaptation is I have a black key, so I'm going to need to go in towards the fall board so I'm not reaching for those black keys. Say the fingering with me on G. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 4, 3. Remember, right hand, mirror image going down to the left hand ascending. Left hand's turn. 5, 4, 3, 4, 3, 3, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 4, 5. Hopefully that feels easier than even learning C major. Okay, we're going to kind of speed through those other keys. I do want to play them, but that way you can have some time to learn through these. So up a perfect fifth from G is D. It's going to add 1 new sharp of C sharp. We'll always add the 7th scale degree of our next key. D major, F sharp, C sharp, F sharp, C sharp. Same fingering as C. 4, 3, 4, 3. Left hand. 4, 3, 4, 3, 3, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1. Up a perfect fifth is A. We're going to add another sharp. F, C, and G sharp. We'll start with the left hand, give it some practice. 3 on C sharp, 3, 2 new sharp of G sharp, 4, 3, 3, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1. Right hand's turn. 3, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 4, 4, 3, 4, 3. Almost done, guys. Up a perfect fifth from A is E. Add another sharp. You have 4 sharps, F, C, G, and D. Let's practice that left hand. Don't forget it. Start on E. 4, 3, 4, 3, 3, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1. Hopefully each time actually feels a little easier because that fingering is becoming automatic. Right hand's turn in E major. 3, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 4, 5. 3, 4, 3. Okay, that is the last of what I call those C fingerings going right on our circle of fifths. We end up with E major with 4 sharps. There's also one more key that uses 1 flat, maybe you guessed it, is F major. That comes from that group 1 triad C, G, and F, all use C fingering. If we look at the left hand in F major, has 1 flat, a B flat. Same fingering, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 1, 3, 1, 4, 5. Okay, let's try out that same fingering in F major for the right hand. 1, 2, 3, 1. I have a B flat. That would be very awkward. We try to avoid our short little thumb finger on black keys and scales if possible. It's just not as fast as our 2, 3, and 4s. F major is an exception. It's going to reverse our C fingering groups. The fingering groups are 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Thumb is still on tonic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And yes, you end up with 4 at the top. It's okay. 3, 4, 3, 4. All right, that was a lot of hard work. You can break those up and practice a scale a day to get those learned. I will save for another video how to practice and kind of some tips on hands together strategy. But if you're a beginning pianist, just start with hands separate. That's great technique to practice. I also will come back and teach you how to play it with metronome, with multiple rhythms. That way you can play it in more advanced repertoire. But the Clementi just uses hands separate scales. So you're good for quite a while just to practice those hands separate. All right, so in summary, practice that C fingering in 6 different keys of C, G, D, A, E, and F major. Think about what your key signature is before you play it, thinking those fingering groups of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right hand down is the same as the left hand up, so you can even practice this cool little trick. Starting your C's, 4, 3, 4, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Go in opposite direction sounds really fancy, but it's really not that hard to play. All right, so your last motivation, I'm going to play all of the Clementi Sonatina in C major, and I will show an analysis there on the screen so you can see that every one of these scales uses that exact same C fingering, but only one of them actually starts in C major, measure 31. The rest of them are starting on various tonic notes. Some of them actually are modes, which we'll explain in a later video, but you can Google what a Phrygian mode is. It just alters one scale degree from our normal major or minor. So enjoy Clementi Sonatina, Opus 36, number 1.